Welcome to the Walking Dead podcast. Here we share stories from veterans and family members of the 1st Battalion 9th Marines, offering a captivating glimpse into their experiences. As we explore their powerful testimonies, we address the challenges veterans face today, sparking meaningful conversations for anyone connected to military life. Join us on this journey of resilience and connection.
I don't know if you know this, but April 5th, 1967, I just joined the outfit, and they gave us these M16 rifles, and we'd never fired one. So we got them, we went out to the dump, and we fired them and whatever. And then Captain Slater, it was my first time out in the field. And so he said, everybody saddle up, we're gonna wait till dark. We, in Charlie Company, you guys were already out there by that village down the street of No Joy. And we walked all night long, pitch black dark, and we had to hold on to the guy in front of us because it was like being blind.
Yeah.
It's my first time out. And I asked Slater later, I said, how in the hell did you know where we were going? He said, well, I would just radio in and have them drop a flare where we were supposed to be, and I'd guide off of that. I thought, oh, okay. Well, I was way back there and didn't know. And we set up, when we got, next day we set up, that night is when we heard over the radio Charlie Company was getting hit. And the radio man all of a sudden cut off, and we thought they'd killed him. I think it was Lampy.
Battalion.
Was it? Okay, yeah, probably. And he said, saddle up, we got to go find Charlie Company. And we walked and walked and walked. And finally, one of your guys, Charlie Company, came out to get us. And we were following, there was a half track on
The otter.
There was an otter. And we followed the tracks and went in, and it was foggy. And I remember that.
Well, that night we'd come in and we'd been out all day, and we'd set up, say, evening, started cooking chow, and otters had brought our resupply. So when otters left, Delta Company was running security for them. So we hear all these explosions and gunfire off in the distance, and they come through and said, drop everything, take magazines, rifle, cartridge belt, leave your packs. We got to go help the otters. So we get up to that little village, I think it was Dong Ho.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
We got up to the village, and Captain Reed says, we need to get on line, 1st and 2nd platoon, get on line, 3rd platoon, you're back here in the rear, is the backup, and we're gonna assault the village. And first and last time I heard it, but he said, pass the word down the line, fix bayonets. I said, whoa, I ain't got one. So
you didn't have one?
I had a K-bar.
Yeah, oh.
So anyway, we get up there, and I heard an artillery round coming, and a flare makes a different noise than an HE.
Yeah.
So the flare, naval gunfire fired into 5-incher in there, and boom, it's like daylight. And standing, 10 feet in front of me was 3 NVA soldiers. So I emptied my magazine into the 3 of those. And they went down, and then I hit the ground, and when I hit the ground, I hit on my elbow and my knees, and my rifle slammed back into my face, and it broke my nose. But the reason it did is because it caught 2 AK rounds in the magazine well, and that's what forced it back into my face.
Oh, you got shot?
Well, I didn't, the rifle did.
No, I mean, they shot at you, and it hit that M16?
2 rounds hit the rifle.
And that's what broke your nose?
Mm-hmm. And then my rifle was non-functionable. So it wasn't any good, and we were getting chopped to pieces. The command group got chopped. Captain Reed got killed. Leland's Honor, FO got killed. The radio man got shot up, but he lived.
Yeah.
And we lost our whole command group. We lost most of our Marines. And I crawled over and I heard Eli screaming. And
Now he was a machine gunner.
right, he was firing the machine gun, and the machine gun stopped. And I crawled trying to find him, and I run into Bob Carpenter. Bob had been shot. He was our A gunner, and he said the NVA, they took Eli, they captured him, they drug him off.
Wow.
And so I told Bob, I said, I'm going to look for Eli, just hang tight. And so I started crawling. It was dark, and you could see the flashes and grenade flashes and the mortar rounds and everything going off, and it lit up. And I could see through the flashes the NVA, because they wore them pith helmets.
Right, right.
And so they were walking around, and they were shooting our guys in the head and stripping them of their gear.
They were executing because, is that because the M16s were jamming?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and the wounded, they were killing the wounded, shooting them in the head. And so I would see one coming, and I'd wait till he got close to him, and I'd wrestle around his legs and get him down and take him out with a K-bar.
So you didn't have a bayonet, you had the K-bar.
And so I took 3 of them out like that, and then I crawled, and I heard Eli screaming. I mean, and if you ever heard Eli talk, you know it's Eli.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I heard him screaming, and so I worked my way down to the hedgerow, and there were 4 NVA torturing, and they were sticking sticks and stuff in his bullet wounds, trying to make him talk. And later Eli told me, he says, I didn't understand them. I can't speak Vietnamese. I just know they were hurting, and I was praying God to take me. And one of the guys got up and left, and when he went past me, I cut him down, I cut his throat. The second guy did the same thing, and I killed him. And then the other 2 had their backs to me, and they were torturing Eli. And I just took and I ran in screaming, and they turned around, and I stuck the knife into the one and wrestled the other one to the ground and killed him. I picked up Eli and throwed him over my shoulder, grabbed hold of the gun. They had taken our gun too, and I ran. I didn't know which way I was running. I just ran. And thank God, God led me to the right path, because I made it back. But me and Eli went around. There was explosion bullets flying through the air like mosquitoes, just zip, 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 zip.
Yeah.
And so we made it back to the area, and the only thing Eli could say was, "Where's my damn gun? Where's my damn gun? They took my damn gun." And so I told him, "I got the gun, Eli."
Oh, did you get the gun then, or did you have to go back in and get
They
it?
had him and the gun right there together. I grabbed him on my shoulder and picked the gun up and ran with both of them.
Oh, my God.
And so I got him back to the collection area where the wounded were, and that's where we spent the rest of the night.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we got the call, and Captain Slater said, "Saddle up, we got to go." And so we did, and we finally found where you guys were, and there was kind of like a hedgerow or something
Yeah.
that we had to go, and the Ontos was sticking up. It was out of commission, and there was a fog, and I remember going through there, and my first recollection was there was bodies everywhere, sand berm that went up. You remember that berm? Okay. We got online, and we started pulling Charlie Company, the wounded out and the dead. And we got online, and Slater said, "Fix bayonets." Well, that was my first operation. It was my first. And I thought, oh, my God, that bayonet's only that big, and it's not very far from the end of my gun. I thought, my God, that scared me to death. We walked in, and we sat. They said, "Sit down," and that berm was right there, and we just sat down. And I sat down right on top of and I thought he was dead, had a compound fracture to his back, and we stayed there all night. Dawn came up, and when it came light, came up on top, and we just shot, because they were trying to see where we were, and so we shot them. And I looked down, and this guy was still alive, and he had a box, an ammo box, and it was full of intel. And so we radioed back, and Slater said, "Well, bring that prisoner back." I don't know if you remember this, But he said, bring that prisoner back. So me and another guy grabbed him and drug him back. He was still alive, and we had the box that had the intel in it. And I said, and I told Hammer this.
Well, Hammer told me, and there was a sergeant that ran down toward y'all, and y'all split two different directions.
Yeah.
And he cut in half with
I said,
magazine.
I've got a live one here. And that sergeant come running down the hill, and he started shooting, and we dove out of the way, and he just riddled that guy, pushed him off into the paddy. And years later, and we got the intel and got it back, and it was good intel.
Yeah.
But years later, Slater asked me, he said, I'd always wondered about that. And I said, well, you want to know the truth? And he goes, yeah, I ordered that prisoner back. And I said, well, this is what happened. And I told him, and he goes, I don't blame them for that. But I mean, he was by the book.
We were decimated.
Oh, man.
And what's bad is I'm the last one.
Oh.
I'm the last one out of Charlie Company, 1st Platoon.
Is that right?
Yeah. It was me and Waterman and Eli and David, and now they're all gone, and I'm the last one.
Wow. Well, we did clean up after the sun came up, and we were taking, I think we lost, 20?
23 dead and 30 wounded.
Yeah. The 23, a lot of them is because of that M16.
Well, I helped the next morning. I helped load Eli on the chopper. He went to the repos.
Yeah.
And they took me back to Delta Med.
Oh.
At Dong Ha.
Yeah. Dong Ha was our rear.
And so I went back to Delta Med at Dong Ha for 2 weeks. And Eli went to the repos. They fixed him up, and he went back to the field. And Operation Buffalo, he got his third Purple Heart, and they shipped him out.
Is that right?
Yeah, he got 3 Purple Hearts.
He came in I know Charlie Company, when we got hit on the 2nd of July by that regiment that came
I'd
across.
got transferred. I went to Lima 326 because they transferred all of us people out to different units.
Is that right?
Because we all had the same rotation date in the battalion, because we all came in together.
Oh.
So they transferred and they brought a bunch of new people in, and then Lima 326, we came in on the backside of the marketplace to help 19. We lost 38 men.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that was a snafu too, but Eli, they finally gave him the Prisoner of War Medal. We did fight and got that for him.
Because he was a POW.
He was a POW, and I went in and took him, and it took the Marine Corps a long time to realize, well, he was captured.
Well, speaking of that...
But they don't mean how long or whatever.
Well, speaking of that, it took you a long time to get the Navy Cross.
2019.
2019. But you were up for the Medal of Honor there for a while.
It's back up for reconsideration for an upgrade. But what's funny about it is the incident happened on 4/5/67, which is 4/5/67.
Yeah.
It ended on 4/5/19.
Oh, is that right?
April 5th, 2019, 4/5/19.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. Wow.
And it's up for reconsideration now, so we should have an answer by the end of the year. That's what they said.
Really?
So we'll see what
didn't
happens.
The only reason you didn't get the Medal of Honor because they shit-canned it in 87.
Well, you know, I made my first reunion in 2006.
Yeah, Branson.
And I've been going to reunions, and you know, it opened up a lot of the areas that we had shut off forever.
Yeah.
Because you talk to people that were there, and parts of the story or parts of our stories from different times was foggy.
Yeah.
And you knew about, but you didn't know whole. And then people started filling in the blanks.
Yeah. Well, that's because of the reunions.
That's what I mean. The
19 reunions helped not only you, but it helped a lot.
Everybody, because we, people that, well, I remember this, but I don't remember what. Well, and then people started filling in the blanks, and I've been going to reunions now, and it really helps.
Well, my first reunion was on 04, and I heard guys telling the story that I've been telling, and I went, oh my God, that really did happen, because it's so surreal that, and then I went, oh, so you remember that? And they go, yeah, this is what, and they filled in the gaps like you said, and then meeting you and talking about, was that an operation? Did it have
Operation Bighorn.
Was that Bighorn?
Yep. And then, I drove from northwest Montana all the way down to Montezuma, Georgia. I gave the eulogy at Eli's funeral.
Oh, yeah. Eli passed away.
Yeah, he passed. And I went down all the way down there, 2,700 miles.
Is that right?
To give the trip like to kill me, but I went.
Well, I met Eli at a reunion, and I just happened to be in Branson, Missouri, because I'm from Springfield, Branson. I was there and I walked in to a souvenir shop, and I turned the corner, and there's Eli.
Yeah.
And I said, Eli, what are you doing here? And he said, oh, we got a C company. Remember that?
Yeah.
We have a C company get together, and General Labouty.
Labouty was there. Wally Dixon
and I
was
said,
there.
well, where? And he said, well, it's at this hotel.
That's the last time I saw Hammer.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Really?
That's the last time I saw Hammer before he passed. And David Miller, that's the last time. I saw David after that at the ceremony.
Oh.
But, it's just, it brings the camaraderie. The Commandant once said, no other unit in Marine Corps history has the camaraderie of 1-9.
Well, look what we went through.
We're 50-something years later, and we're all still together.
I didn't realize this, but we have the highest casualty rate of a battalion, which is 4 companies, in the history.
We also have the longest sustained combat, 49 months.
49 months.
And Charlie Company has another record. They're the only unit in Marine Corps history to capture an entire artillery battery intact on Dewey Canyon.
Oh, that's right.
The gun is in the Marine Corps Museum. There's one at MCRD, and there's one at Camp Lejeune.
Was that Wesley Fox's outfit?
Yep, Wesley Fox.
Wesley Fox got the Medal of Honor.
Yeah, he got the Medal of Honor. I've got his book. He signed it to me at the D.C. during.
I got his book too.
So
he was quite a guy. Yeah, I saw that gun in the museum.
Yep.
Charlie Company did that?
Charlie Company captured the guns.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm A Company, so yeah, whatever.
Well, we'll forgive you for that.
Well, here's to you. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.